You know that feeling when you think you've finally broken through? When someone who's caused you years of pain suddenly seems different? After she moved back in 2019, I actually believed we'd found peace. She agreed to Hygiene classes, let me manage her finances, hold her bank tokens, handle her government passwords, all the admin logistics my dad used to handle. She even started working part-time twice a week. For the first few months, it felt like we were building something real together. It felt normal. But I should have known better. Here's what normal actually looked like. I single-handedly liaised with a property agent to settle her rental place. She never lifted a finger. As usual, air conditioning, new fridge, new bed frame, ceiling repairs, toilet fixes. My husband and I handled everything. I was paying for her air con and fridge installments through my own credit card. My husband personally coordinated with workers, renovation teams. He even fixed the water leak in the ceiling himself. We made sure everything ran smoothly. And her response to all this help? Not a word of thanks. She never once trusted my words. Ever. It was always her narrative first. Her siblings' words took priority over mine, even though I'm the one with higher cognitive ability, the one actually handling everything. But the real manipulation? It started with something as simple as a change of address. I needed to change her residency address to my place so all her important mail would reach us safely. Makes sense, right? She threw an absolute fit. I'm still the rightful owner. Why change the address? You have no right. She became hostile, defensive. And then came her trump card. Her siblings agreed with her. Shadow consultant L and brother K said the change wasn't needed. What do these two siblings who made their careers in the military know about property management? They're not property agents. They've never rented out their places. So I called brother K directly to question his sources. You know what he told me? Be patient. Your mom is lowly educated. Can you believe that? Lowly educated became the excuse to turn me into the bad guy. To make it sound like I was selling her place behind her back. The drama she created over a simple address change. But the real eye-opener? That came during a weekend visit to her sister C's place. Now, Sister C is no saint either. Her son was that eldest cousin I mentioned in my previous video, the one earning easily twice what I made while my mom demanded I match his $500 allowance to each parent when I first started work. Sister C had been quietly feeding my mom these allowance comparisons for years. So we're at Sister C's place, and she mentioned something about topping up her retirement account. There was a government incentive, dollar-for-dollar matching. Now, I'd already told my mom about this weeks before. I'd already done it using her funds and informed her about it. But when Sister C brought it up, my mom did not say, "Oh, my daughter already handled that," or "Let me check with my daughter." No, she said, loudly and immediately. Oh, there's such a thing? I don't know. And no one told me about this. They were talking loudly in the room with the door open, so I overheard everything. When I shouted at her to correct her, that I had already done the transfer, so why was she saying no one told her? They suddenly went quiet and started whispering among themselves. And no one told her. I'm sitting right there. I'm the one handling all her logistics, remember? And she tells her sister that no one informed her about anything. If I hadn't been there to hear it myself, I'd still be in the dark about how she'd been putting me in such a bad light all these years. This was her subconscious revealing the truth, that in her mind, no one informs her, no one helps her. All while I'm managing every aspect of her life. And then there were the hygiene issues that really showed her character. She pees in her room overnight, into a bedpan, goes to bed at midnight, emerges at 10 a.m. 10 hours of overnight urine just sitting there in her room. When I expressed concern, she compared herself to her 80-year-old obese mother who had diabetes, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure. She's comparing her health to someone who'd been struggling with mobility since her late 50s. Here's the telling part. She insisted this habit started even when my dad was around. But we never smelled anything pungent at their place. So we know who had been cleaning up after her all along. The smell in her room after her so-called cleaning? Pungent. Acidic. You never smell that anywhere else in our house. She only had to clean her own room and fan. That's it. but even that became a power struggle. She didn't even bother with cleaning her room properly. Cobwebs started accumulating everywhere. I never had this issue in any room before she moved in. When it came to the fan, she asked us how to clean it, claiming she didn't know how to dismantle the outer shell. I told her even if you don't know how to take it apart, the minimum is cleaning the outer shell with a wet cloth. She did it half-heartedly, clearly hoping we'd eventually do it for her like my dad used to. Then came her exact words. "Your dad did all these things for me. All along he has been." So I asked her straight out, "Am I your parent or your husband? Why are you saying this? Do you expect us to clean for you? Is he still here? Do you see his spirit? Can he touch that fan and clean it for you now?" She rolled her eyes and walked away. She cleaned that fan once during Chinese New Year. Never again, no matter how much dust accumulated. Remember Shadow Consultant L? She had this almighty, self-entitled attitude too. Because my mum slept until 10 a.m. daily, weekends included, her phone stayed off until noon. So when beloved Shadow Consultant L wanted to contact her for outings, she'd call our landline at 7 a.m. on weekends, expecting us to be like hotel service, knocking on my mum's door. There was once her mother called at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. I pulled a landline out after stating my mum was still sleeping. They then called my husband at least 10 times, like there was some urgent matter. What's the urgent matter? Free tickets to a tourist attraction, and they are going that particular day. When I told Elle I catch up on sleep during weekends after working late on weekdays, you know what she said? "I'll call my sister whenever I want to. You should be grateful she's walking and functional." Shadow Consultant L still had the cheek to ask why we wake up so late. "What about your sister, my mom? She wakes up no earlier than 10 a.m. despite going to bed at midnight." When she picked up the call, she lied to her sister she was already awake, but lazing on the bed. The hypocrisy was staggering, but it revealed their coordinated strategy to make us look unreasonable while they maintained their sense of entitlement. From then on, our landline stayed off from midnight till 11 a.m. We only give respect to people who respect us. Soon after, COVID hit, and I asked her to reduce her part-time work. Not quit, just reduce it. I had just recovered from autoimmune issues and was having some residual effects. We had a young child at home, and I was genuinely worried about bringing the virus into our house during those early, uncertain days. It seemed like a reasonable precaution for our family's safety. She was still functional, so with all activities shut down anyway, I asked her to help with basic household tasks, just cooking lunch and dinner, plus laundry for herself, me, and my daughter. I'd already automated most chores with robot vacuums, a dryer, pressure cooker, and air fryer. The setup was simple, though she refused to learn the pressure cooker despite being capable of using the dryer just fine. What I didn't realize was how she would respond to this new arrangement. It started subtly. The same lunch every single day, Monday through Friday. The same dinner every single day during the weekdays, too. I thought this was just her struggling with doing more around the house. Maybe she was frustrated about working less, or lacked creativity in the kitchen. Perhaps she just took the easy route with meal planning. But when COVID forced me to work from home full-time, I witnessed something much more disturbing. I saw her dangerous games firsthand, and what she was willing to risk to prove her point went far beyond bad meals. Looking back now at the public humiliation, the hygiene battles, and these identical meals, I can see what was really happening. At the time, I honestly thought she was just cognitively slow, struggling with changes, not handling the reduced work well. I kept giving her the benefit of the doubt. But this wasn't cognitive slowness. This was warfare disguised as helplessness. And in the next video, I'll tell you how our need to prove her point almost burned our house down, and how that finally opened my eyes to the truth.